What up, everyone? Welcome to today's podcast. I'm here with Liam, the king of dad. What he says, dad wheelie mode gang. It gets very confusing for me. But the reason why we want to bring him on here is because I preach about him to other riders, and I love what he's doing, and I think he's doing going in a great direction. And just want to chat with him and maybe give you guys some insights of how you guys can better your plan or like the actual effectiveness of what you're trying to do. So say what up to Liam. Thanks for having you, or thanks for coming on. So yeah, we got 3 questions. I don't know too much about you, so this is pretty cool. They're kind of things that I want to know about. So the first one is, how does your work help you with promoting bike life?
Ooh, my day job?
Yes.
So I work with a lot of white collar executives for various, with various customers that I have. And I don't know that they necessarily help me promote bike life, but I definitely share it with them. So,
Very cool.
Oftentimes whether we're talking outside of work, I'll mention, I went to a ride this weekend. What's a ride? This is the type of bike I ride. And a lot of the middle-aged folks that I come into contact with, they're familiar with road biking,
Okay.
$50,000 carbon, bicycles, and they're out there doing century rides and big things. So they're aware of what bicycling is as a hobby, but they're not familiar with big BMX.
Okay.
Right. So they're oversized BMX bikes. We're just out to have a good time. You don't have to dress up, right, and buy a kit. You don't need to buy a chamois. You can just go out in the afternoon after work. So that's how I kind of socialize what I do as a hobby with my colleagues.
Okay.
And try and open their eyes that, hey, we're not just out there to block traffic and cause mayhem. We're out there to get fit and practice focusing on balance and learn tricks and just have fun like we used to when we were kids. So I guess the answer is that my work technically doesn't help me promote bike life, but I try and do what I can to promote bike life within my work.
Okay, cool. That was a great perspective, because I see on that, what I was really thinking about is like the skills you learn throughout the way where you have your job, and utilizing those skills to make the videos or create content or interact with people. And that helps you with your hobby, which is bike life, and seeing your stuff looks really professional, and I love it. So
I do it all on my phone. Actually, yeah. So every video that I take, unless I'm actually using a GoPro, right, I do all the video editing on my phone. I use like 2 movie editing apps, right? iMovie being the first one that I started using, which is native on the for Apple. But the skills that I learned at my day job that I bring into bike life are the focus, right, and the discipline to keep trying things. I know it doesn't happen overnight, so I've learned a lot of patience through my day job, and also the ability to distill information, like complex information, and try and break it down into its simplest components so that I can express something in a minute, right? Because these videos are 30 seconds, a minute, maybe a minute and a half. To try and explain something that's taken months to learn into a minute is very challenging. And you're always going to leave something out, and someone's always going to raise their hand. Well, you forgot about this, or you mentioned that. And
yeah,
be patient.
Totally. That's super cool. Yeah, you do a great job with that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Actually, since you've been in the industry, right? You've been around bicycles your whole life. It's intimidating, to kind of come into the scene and be like, okay, I'm going to try and teach people. And they're like, well, you weren't here in the 80s and you weren't doing this. That's life, right?
Yep, exactly. Very cool. No, that's cool to hear about you and like kind of what helps you and stuff like that. Hit a lot of key points. Very cool. The next thing is, I see a lot of people posting just their own clips, which I fall under that as well. But why do you post other people on your IG, unlike most others that just post themselves on their IG? Why do you do that?
I think it's more important for me to kind of celebrate and share the community. I mean, I don't consider myself to be an exceptionally talented rider, right? I'm not, a superhero on a bike. My goal and my talent is sharing. So whenever I see something that's different about somebody, if it's their character, if it's their style, if it's their trick, if it's something I've been trying to learn myself, I love to highlight it. Because if I pick up on something and I learn something from, say, let's call him Joe. Let's say I learned something from Joe. I mean, there's no reason why someone else shouldn't learn something from Joe also.
100.
Because the more we educate and elevate the better we're going to be.
Definitely. Yeah, it's super hard to know about bike life when all you see is people doing wheelies and swerving. There's no context behind it, and it makes it real difficult for these people to see what we're actually doing, and they just kind of judge us like, oh, you're swerving by cars, you're going through traffic, and they really aren't educated. Most of them don't even know the rules of the road. They don't understand a bicycle is exactly like a car, and they're just naive, and they think they're right, and they'll go to the death because they're uneducated. I mean, did you see that video? Did you see that video of all the bikes? They got like 1,000 bike riders in New York, and they all followed all the traffic laws, like hand signals, stopping at all the stop sign. It was a mess, and they did it just to prove a point. But if I see that video, I'll send it to you. It's super cool.
Was it part of critical mass, or was it just something like, hey, we will show you how much we can clock things up if we follow the rules?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Like, let me show you how bad it is to do your idea. so that was pretty cool. All right, and then the last one. This one's real difficult for me. I have 4 kids, 4 boys, and then I also have 2 daughters. So there's 6 of us, a girlfriend, and a dog, and it's really difficult for me to create content. So how do you create content while being a father?
That is a difficult question. So I have 2 kids. My oldest son is special needs, so he is unique unto himself, right? He's his own special character in his own world.
All right, so I'm gonna cut you off right there because you bring up something kind of cool. Special needs as what is his disability? And to make you feel comfortable, my older brother has cerebral palsy, and he's grown up his whole life in a wheelchair, and I've had to do a lot of things for him, from like fixing his wheelchair, which you hit on today on your post about Jacob, which is really cool. Yeah. But like, people don't know a lot of that stuff like that. So like, what is he dealing with, so people kind of relate to you?
Sure. I guess at its simplest, right? He's legally blind. He's got glaucoma.
Okay.
And so the combination of those 2 challenges means he's a very introverted person, right? Even if he needs help, he doesn't necessarily ask for help. And the way he processes information and his perspective on things is quite different. He is supremely positive.
All right.
So I'm blessed in that he never sees the negative side of anything, right? He always sees the positive. And I attribute that all to his mother and his grandparents really giving him that, because
cool.
I'm conditioned to always look for the worst. Professionally, I'm always looking for what's going to derail or throw us off or to look at problems. And then my job is to fix those problems before they happen.
Yeah.
So he's... You're right. Autism is, I mean, he's on the spectrum. He's been in special needs classes. He's quite independent for what he's able to do. And, but the vision challenge has really restricted, what he's been able to accomplish, right? We don't play football, right? We don't throw a ball because he can't see it. He has some limited partial vision in one eye. And, I did teach him to ride a bicycle several years ago, right? Big empty parking lots, basketball courts, etc. So he understands balance, and that was a real crowning achievement for him to be able to do something that the other kids could do. So I was very, very proud of that. As he got older, though, because of the condition with his vision, it just wasn't safe for him to continue riding, because he got bigger and stronger and faster, and like a strong accident could cause him to lose vision. So we basically stopped allowing him to ride, because he could get into trouble real quickly and wouldn't be able to recover. So
gotcha.
He actually finds his own hobbies and his own interests, and like playing piano is one of them. So he loves classical music and piano playing. And
cool.
He's very much into that world. So So that's my first kid. My second kid, my daughter, is a high schooler, and she's into her own high sports, and she'll ride bicycles with me as more for exercise than anything, but it's not a passion of hers at this time. And I just, my belief with kids is you introduce to every flavor of food or ice cream or whatever's out there, and they're going to find what they like anyway. So I've tried to guide them a little bit, but they're going to find what they like, and my job is to just support them and enable them. So yeah, how do I come up with content? It's everywhere, and I think maybe because I haven't been in the industry that long, a lot of this is still new to me. Right? I haven't been around it long enough where things are normal. Right? I still find it beautiful. I still want to know how they cut sprockets. I still want to know, who determines what. Like in the automotive world, we've got tread wear ratings for tires. Lower the number, the stickier your tires.
Right.
We don't have that that I'm aware of. Right? Especially for street bike tires. I would love to know what the stickiest tires are.
Like the durometer. They have that with grips. They had that with grips. I worked for ODI for a while, and we had a lot of certain formulas, and they do it with that stuff, but you could definitely tell the difference. So super interesting.
I'm always like feeling them and like, ooh, how does this feel? Like, how does it compare to a motorcycle tire? It's basically what I'm going in my head, and then I wonder about temperatures. I'm always thinking about stuff. So for me, content kind of comes easily. And I noticed you do the same thing. You ask a lot of questions in your posts because it forces people to think, right? They're not just watching for entertainment. All of a sudden there's a challenge question or a statement.
Yes.
And I like that kind of thing because I think the more we kind of poke and challenge one another, again, it helps us grow. I don't think there's growth without a challenge. So.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you separate your family time to actually sitting down and making the content and going out and filming it? Because I think that's the most difficult thing. You know what I mean? Is you filmed it, but you got to sit there and edit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. So I usually ride by myself. So I think my content can be really boring, right? I set my phone up against a curb or I put it against a lamp pole, and then I ride by 20 times trying to do a trick, and it's really boring, I think, as the viewer to just kind of see me go by on the screen. That's why I love when I go to a ride out. Anytime I get together with other people, I'm half the time my phone is in my hand and I'm following people around, just ooh, there's something. Because I learn every time I'm out with people. And you might not even realize you're learning, but you are. So I try to consciously record things that I think are going to be interesting, things that I can watch later and learn from, or just maybe explain to other people, hey, this is why this person does it differently. There's a young girl in Texas, JLEZ, and she's got such an unusual way she pops up into a wheelie. She pops a manual and then immediately jumps on the seat and starts pedaling away. And it's not something you expect from somebody small.
Oh,
right?
okay.
To pop a manual on a big bike when you're a smaller person and a girl, you don't see that too often. So I really enjoy watching, how she pops into wheelies because it's different. And that's how she learned how to do it, and it works for her. Right? I've seen her do it on a number of bikes, whereas you've got your standard, normal people that get down on the bars and pop up. And I love seeing all these little differences because it's the blend of the diversity within our community. That's awesome.
Yeah, super, super cool. I definitely love the bike life and all the different people in it, and that's what attracts me to the bike life. It's real refreshing. So cool. Yeah, do you want to give any thanks to anybody? Give them a shout out or whatever? About to wrap it up.
I hadn't really thought of that. I'm grateful to everybody that throws positive words and energy my way. There's always people that are going to be detractors in social media. Right? There's always negative people in there, and you have to look past that. So, folks, I'd like to thank. Everybody that spent a moment to talk to me. I love seeing people help other people. That's a huge one for me, right? When somebody pulls over to help someone fix a tire, if I have time to fix a flat, I'll pull over and help too. So there's just too many people specifically to name I'm grateful for the community.
Perfect.
They've been welcoming. There's no bullshit on like, you know, you're not this race, you can't hang with this crew, or you can't do this because you're not, you know, you don't smoke weed, so you can't hang out with these guys. Like, there's no real judgment when we're all feeling it around bikes, right? Everybody just wants to have a good time on their bike, and I think that's what I love. Whether you're a man or a woman, or you know, you want to learn your tricks, or you just ride, you know, and get mileage in. You know, the fact that we keep coming together as a group is very important to me. And so I guess my number one thanks would be to the people that are trying to keep the community going, not riding in a destructive way. And when I say that I mean, you know, we're not here to harass people. We're not here to like swerve old ladies, right? I look at some of this type of riding and I go, it's a bit cowardly to kind of bully someone on a bike or think that you can stop a car with a bicycle, you know, because eventually someone's going to get hurt, and it's not the car that's going to get hurt. So I appreciate people that kind of ride respectfully within their means, and that way we'll all have the opportunity to keep riding a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I love that approach on it. Well, that's it for this podcast. Thanks a lot for showing up. Let him know your Instagram. Follow him on Instagram. What's your Instagram? I know there's a couple dots in there, so I figured I'd let you know.
It's Dad Mode Wheelie Gang with all spaces between those words. Dad Mode Wheelie Gang.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Peace out.
Thanks so much, Barry. Take care.
Will do.